Here we are. We are live again. I figured out how
Ah,
to get that going.
all right.
Thank
Hello. And good evening.
Good evening. I think you look okay. Yep.
Except for all that gray hair filling in. I think it's all going by the end of this year, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Look like
just makes you
grandpa.
look distinguished.
Yeah.
So here I wanna do the high P there now that we can actually see it on the stream, that we can check it out.
Okay.
Yes, I don't know.
Yeah.
Does
I
it
saw
look
it.
alright? Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's nice and brief, so it doesn't do it too crazy. But we can actually even put it down at the bottom and have it come up from there and like pop into the screen.
Right.
So there's a lot of stuff we can end up doing with that. It's gonna be kind of neat.
Yeah, that's cool though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try.
So I was gonna bring up so last time when we were doing this, I got nCrunch set up, so we actually have this real time or live testing that happens. Did it pop up for you?
It did.
Oh, okay. So I don't see it on the screen, my main screen that I'm looking at, so that's why I was like,
Oh.
wasn't sure.
Yeah, it worked. Worked.
Very cool. So yeah, so I set up nCrunch last time, and which is awesome. Like, and it's great because it has that stuff where it does the live unit testing, right? So it keeps the test running. As soon as you make a change and you save it, it automatically in the background starts doing the test, right? So like, I make a small change here, I save that file. Oh, maybe could it even tell that was just white space? It might have been able to tell. Uh, I don't know. Trying to kind of come up with something that's not the same. Or even. Oh, are they not running? Maybe because I didn't. It says it's enabled. Oh no.
Did it run? Oh, it's running.
Yeah, so something's happening. But I thought these actually would go to like a different icon when it was in the process of running.
Yeah, like a yellow or something.
Yeah, I thought it did. Did I miss something?
It's going down there though.
Yeah, it's got a little thing that's spinning, right? But
Yeah. What's your little one? That little bubble.
oh, it's just a code cleanup option.
Oh, okay.
This was because in here it wanted to.
Just take these things out.
Yeah.
Is that the code rushed?
Yeah. Code Rush was giving me that little bit of information. Maybe we try making this actually like a thing. Why are you not running?
Yeah, what is up with that?
I don't know. No tests are queued for execution. All right. Let me restart Visual Studio here because that seems
fun.
yeah,
Yeah, it was weird.
funky.
Oh man. Always something new and funny going on.
Yeah, right. Figure that's the time when you can play with the bot.
Yeah, we gotta get some more commands in there, man.
I know, right? That's the thing. We're gonna have some pretty fun commands and get that really building out, because now that we're getting some of that, so it's got a little bit of that phaser stuff working, it'll be interesting to try to figure out how to get that built out more.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so tests.
What notifications do I have? Wait a minute. Is ReSharper set up also? I hope not, because yeah, okay, I have it disabled. All right.
So that's down here.
So Wyatt is. Yeah. So run all tests automatically.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that looks like it's running now, right?
Yeah. Well, we got tests in the test window, so there's that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They go dim, John. while it's
Yeah, they
running.
go dim. There we go. Yeah. So what I did find was that was that Visual Studio Enterprise with their version of this is very similar. That it has, I think they have little green check marks and red X's and like a yellow icon for when it's like not current.
Okay.
The only thing that I found that I kind of am not sure how I feel about it is that when you want to ignore tests, you have to ignore, like, you actually have to ignore the tests. Versus this having its own configuration tool that I can come in here and say, I want to ignore these ones for the live testing.
Oh,
So,
but you have to type it in, like actually put in the ignore kind of thing.
yeah, on each of the tests that you want to ignore. You know, like, so you'd actually have to come in here and do an ignore,
Mm-hmm.
or however it's done in.
Yeah, it's.
Hmm.
I know what you mean. It's
Yeah, but you would have to manually go into the test and make it so that the tests themselves would not be running. So I don't know. I wasn't liking that part too much. I don't know. 6 one, half dozen another. At least it has it, so you don't have to spend any extra money if you already have Enterprise, and it works.
right.
So
Just graphically a little less pleasing, it seems. And then
well,
that having to go and put that directive in there for every fact that you want to ignore. That's not great either.
the way that it reported the error, I didn't like as much as well.
How's that?
Well, so trying to think here. Let's make this a 1 here, right? So when taking a look at this, right, I can put this over here, and I get the error message right there on that window.
Right.
Visual Studio, when it did it, I still had to go to the Test Explorer to find the actual error message.
Oh, not right in code like this.
Yeah, because what's actually nice, yeah, so you can't actually just go and. Now, if I were to go into this function, yeah, see how I can click on it and I can see all the tests?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This seemed a little bit nicer. Now, with that having been said, it does cost extra. So you have to pay for it in addition to what's already available if you have Enterprise.
Right.
But the price of it is way cheaper than Enterprise. So
yeah, if you don't have it.
If you don't have it. So let me just fix that test. Put that back in there. That is pretty nice. There we go. All right, so we were getting into the game and the stuff that we were working on. We were working on the files.
Yeah, the data, like the actual data resource files.
Yep.
And we had a bunch of it loading. Like we were successful with as far as we took it, I believe, but we weren't actually playing it in the game. We were just getting it loaded up through the tests.
Yeah. So let's see here. We had these two. Oh, I didn't rename that test there. Oh, bad John. This should be load file. Load all achievements. Well, that actually, I wonder if this will work right in the middle of this. The spell checker.
Looks like it.
Oh, check that out. That's pretty slick.
Mhm.
I wonder if that's I'm trying to remember. Is that? I think that might be part of Code Rush.
That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah, that was pretty neat. The fact that I was able to figure out that I wanted that to be its own word and it spell checked it. So I'm gonna just pin this, and I want to pin this one. I am going to. Wow, we got a lot of stuff pinned here.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
remember last week I was like, how'd you get the 2 levels?
Yeah, I know, but I was like not really intending to have that many. All right, so that's good. Let's do this. Like, what did I call it? I'll do that. Load. Oop. All right, so that's good. So what we we had these repositories actually running and getting the items out of it, right? We actually have those files. I was using Visual VS Code to actually do it, right? Since they're CSVs.
Right, because right, to be able to manipulate the CSV
Yeah.
files in like an Excel-y kind of a way.
Yeah. So go into here. This was right now. We were doing it primarily. We were only working with the tests.
Yeah, right. So the question is, do we want to continue writing tests for more resources? Do we want to try and get these resources that we're able to load and work them into the game? Right? That's sort of where we're at.
Yeah, I think we probably want to get. Yeah, I don't know. What do we want to do? Do we want to do something where we're actually testing some of the contents that are coming out of this? Like put a specific record in there and make sure that we're getting the data is getting filled in from the right spot? Because right now we're actually using like the actual files more because I was trying to make sure that we were able to get that to happen appropriately. An achievement. Ooh, achievement. Do we finish the achievement stuff?
Well, there was that reward component that we really hadn't tackled. So I think that like you're passing. Is that what that?
I'm trying to bring it up so it's easier to look at. So, see this achievement type?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't remember if we actually got that working in here. So, like, if we do the get all.
I had to make sure the record's in there, so you're saying. For the tests.
Yeah, so it is, right? So this actually does the read, it checks the type, so it actually will build the right one. So, but we don't have any tests that actually check that.
Right. So really we want to, what do we want to test then? This get all function here?
Well,
further?
Yes. I think what we need to be able to do is especially in the achievement one, right? We want to say, oh my goodness. Load. Shoot, what were the 2 types?
It was inventory and lifetime.
Achievement, yeah. Load inventory. I don't like that. But I'm just going to try to write out the quick test here real quick. I wonder if there's a way to just say assert not I was wondering if there's a way that we can just say it's not written yet. You know what I mean?
Like a blank.
Yeah. I guess we can just do.
Do like should equal true equal true kind of thing or something, or what?
Not.
Oh, you want to throw an arrow.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. Is that what's that? What's the one that it always puts in when it creates the
Oh yeah, it's like not implemented or something.
Yeah,
or,
not. Yeah, there we go. Right, so then I can do.
Okay, so you don't forget to go back. I got you.
Yeah. What was the other one? Lifetime stat achievement.
So now how we're okay.
What?
Nothing. I was going to ask a question, but I think we're about to cover it. So,
Well, go ahead and ask it. I don't know.
I was just wondering how you're going to write that test so that we differentiate between the two, because it pulls back everything, right? So, are you just going to kind of query the result set and make sure they're in there, or?
Yeah. So what I was going to do, I'm actually going to change this data because the problem is that it's too like specific, and so it
we're
doesn't.
going to create like a test file kind of thing. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah. So I'm going to update this file so it's a test file, right? So we'll know the first one is going to be, the first one's going to be the inventory achievement. Like this one, I'm just going to delete this row, and then this one here, I'm going to just do achievement 1. Right, so then that way this will be description, and then this will be just achievement 1, item name, threshold 1. Right, so that's fine.
Let me bring up a little point here.
Sure.
See how you feel about it, or what your thoughts are on it. So do you think it's legit to have like this external file that our unit tests have to depend on in order to run? I mean, I don't see a way around it, but
well, what we're testing is the file, right?
Okay.
We're testing the fact that it's reading in the CSV appropriately. So we need the file. But now the thing is what we're actually doing is we're creating a file for the testing in the tests, right? So this file doesn't exist. We're not reading the actual resource file, right? It's like when you're doing database tests and you're not actually testing that the database, you're not testing that the database is working.
What right, you're doing you just spoof out some data in that shape. Like you know that SQL works.
Right. So that's fine. But in this case, we're a little bit different, right? So when we're testing the database itself, we would want to mock up if we were going to do some testing. Or I mean, we'd actually have like a fake database with data that we know that's predefined, right? Mm-hmm. Because we're saying here's our test data that we're using for our unit tests, and that's what I'm doing here.
Now, how are we going to keep, like, say we change that schema, so to speak, of our files? How are we going to? We would have to just create like a new test. That would be like what we would do to test that. Is we would just create a new test file and then run the test against that, and then that would test to see if our schema broke everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Or we update the test, right? Like, yeah, if it breaks it, if that's not the way we want it, then we could change the code and update the test.
Like even this file name, like we could name it something completely different, right? Because this file here is just the tests file. So we would probably want to name it that's more appropriate for what we're doing here, right? So we may even just call it like basic achievements, right? And so then that way, that's what we'll use. we'll use when we're loading it in, right? So that way it'll be our basic ones. And then if we want to do some additional stuff that we're trying to do, maybe we'll have a different set of a different achievements file that we would use for it. But ideally, at this point, once we have this done, everything else should be working against the interface, which then that we would mock. So the data coming out of these in all of our tests would actually be the mocked data, right?
Okay, so this is really the last place we're going to have to do this, and it's because we're sort of testing the file.
Correct.
Okay.
This is the tests that are for the file itself. Maybe we should even change the name of this, right?
Mhm.
Maybe we can change the name of this test to something that's more appropriate. Maybe do it like game achievement file load tests.
Because you're not even at this point trying to push it into an object or anything, right? This is really, you're just testing the
No, we
file.
are, but it's getting it back. It's loading it from the file and creating the object. That's actually why that's what we're doing here, is to test this to make sure it's actually getting the right type.
Okay.
Right? Because what my plan is here is to take this and then basically do achievement equals achievements dot first. Oh, there isn't an ID, or is it called? No,
I don't think, did we even have an ID on it?
Yes, yeah, we do. Odd.
Indeed.
Indeed. You sound like Uncle Bob when he's doing the Spock. Or is it Spock? I think it was Spock.
Could be. It's illogical. So where's the ID number, man?
I don't know. Let me.
Is it not on the inventory achievement? No, there.
Well. Yeah, right. So this is getting weird. So it takes the setting and the game state to create it, and so a game achievement does not have an ID. Why does it not have an ID?
It does now. It's the power of programming.
Yeah.
I give you an ID.
Oh, there's player achievement. I don't know what that's.
What is that object doing?
I do not know. Register achievement. What?
Oh, this is to show that the player got it. That's why it's a player achievement. It's because it's been achieved. I bet you that's what it is. See, attained achievements, add new player achievement.
Yeah, I know. I see that. I think it's broken.
That could be.
I think it is broken. Well, we'll come back and fix that later. So the part that's broken is this. It's making an assumption that when this achievement was reached, it's the first one in the list versus
where name equals name.
Yeah. I don't even know. Oh, so it's trying to. But why is it getting it from game achievements instead of from itself? You know what I mean?
Do.
Like, doesn't it seem like it should just be name?
Maybe that code came over from another spot. It could, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it might not have been part of the achievement at one point.
That's weird. Okay.
Because I think that code still works the same with that taken out.
Yeah, I think it will. I think it will too. Oh, there was one thing though that I changed. All right, so here we have to do right, but I think we're gonna have to do that in 2 spots.
For the other one.
Yeah, for the other one.
Yeah, it was lifetime, I think. It's called lifetime achievement. There it is.
Oh, look how convenient that is.
You didn't know that was going to happen?
Well, that it was going to take what I typed and break it apart and search. You see how it's doing lifetime and then achievement? Like, I did not
Mm-hmm.
expect that. I am going to be using that now all the time. That's
That was
another
pretty
code
hot.
rush. That's another code rush feature. It's called
Mm-hmm.
search everything. That's why when I typed, right? So when I typed it in, oh, that's lifetime. So what you're actually seeing here is not only just like classes or files, but it's finding properties and other things that have the name in it, functions, return results. So
Yeah, and as you type.
yeah, and as you type.
It's good stuff, man. I don't know. Might have to be getting me some code rushed.
It's pretty good.
What's the price tag on something like that?
You know what? I don't know. Let's take a look. I wonder if we can get some sponsorship.
Yeah, right. There you go.
We'll just take Code Rush, honestly. It's a sponsor.
Here, we'll give it for free. Here you go.
Yeah, right?
Get Code Rushed. If you like what we're doing here, reach out. Any pricing? 49? Is it fitted Alice? No. That's the big.
Yeah. Wait. The. Yes, I think. Let me see what the difference was here. Yeah, so I think it's just. I think it's $50.
Yeah, because that's part of the base code rush stuff that we're using, right? The refactor tools and all. It's not all
Yeah.
this other stuff.
No, because like all this other stuff is like all their UI tools and stuff like that. They do have some pretty extensive stuff with that, and Mark Miller, um, he's he's like the de facto UX guy and like interface guy and stuff like that. So, him being involved in this is pretty awesome. He actually has a couple of good training videos on how to get better at doing UI. I watched like the free one, and I just haven't had the time to go back and actually watch, like, to purchase it and watch it, because I think it wasn't even that unreasonable. It was like a couple $100 for like it was a pretty long course. Let me see, Mark Miller UI course. Is this it?
That's a pretty ride.
Yeah.
Oh, Scott Hanselman quote, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, I know, right? So this is saying $99. I thought it was. I guess I was thinking it was more than that, but it's definitely like I know not only Scott Hanselman, but I know that Jeff Fritz even mentioned him. There was somebody else as well. So saying that it really is really good to do. So.
Huh. Is that the guy that does the stream?
Same
guy?
Yep, same guy.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's why it's like now he's gotten into doing the special effects and stuff like that. So it's like kind of he's taken, and it's funny because like when you watch him enough, like you'll hear him start talking about how it'll make sense in a UI type of situation and how it would be beneficial. How he's doing the effects would be good in that. So I don't know. I thought it was pretty slick. I was like, I got to get back and watch it. I just haven't had the time to do it.
Yeah, right.
It's
Always
time
the problem,
related, not. not desire related. I do like the fact that these are not covered. This is
Good stuff, man.
it is. I switched all my computers. I switched everything now over to this new font. I have my work laptop, my other laptop, this laptop. I have them all switched over.
I gotta make the jump, man. I gotta join the club. All the cool kids. What's it called? What's the font called?
It's called Cascadia Code.
Cascadia Code.
Yeah. Yep.
It's gonna be like the Google episode.
Yeah. Well, you know what I mean. There's still like important
There you go.
stuff to know. Yep. So there you go. That's the font. That, and then you got to turn on the this thing.
Yeah, and then that
Called
does all this.
ligatures over here. I think it's called something different in Visual Studio, but I think Visual Studio does it automatically by default.
Okay.
But this is one of the things that won't happen until you restart. Plus,
Right.
the font
You can see like the arrow up there too for like your lambda section arrow.
So what I found when I first did it is that all of a sudden the font went where there's this boldness going on. All the boldness goes away and everything's like super skinny. Like it looked really weird. So you definitely got to restart Visual Studio to get it up and running. And working perfectly, or working completely. Alright, so there's that. This function really should be below. How do I move this function? Nope.
Cut and paste is always there for you.
Yeah, right? There we go. So there's an option here in Code Rush for organizing the members, right? So it had a code cleanup there. I'm actually really interested to see what that looks like.
The organizing members?
Yeah.
Right. That is interesting. So you get to just, what's that going to look like?
Yeah. Yeah, because I have the code.
Oh, look, move down, move up. You check it off and you move it. Huh.
Oh, no, this is...
oh, that's part of that UI. Okay.
Yeah, that's part of this UI. Like if you want to
Right. Yeah, to move it within this list. Right.
Yeah. So it gets priority. So you can have certain things take priority on it.
Okay.
Let's see. Maybe it's not there. Maybe it's all languages. Organized members. Oh, there we go. So that's kind of interesting. So you can then kind of control. I'm guessing this is the order.
So it'll just lay them out in that order?
No. Yeah, I think so.
It looks backwards to me.
It does. Well, we'll have to try it on some of the other files and see what it looks like. And we can always undo it after if we haven't made any changes to it yet, you know? Alright, so now we're getting back this, at least. Now we can actually get it by the ID, because we know that the ID 1 is, that one.
Yeah, whatever that first test was.
First. And maybe I'll even make this, constant here. And we're just going to name this one, inventory achievement ID. Right.
Okay.
So that way we know which one we're actually getting. It's kind of spelt out there instead of just being a magic number. I wonder if we can do should be type.
Oh. Yeah, there was a typo. I'll type is how it's written now. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and then we can do. Nope. Inventory. Achievement. Oh.
And it ran it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But then, so we also want to do a thing here where we're going to check the
Do we want to? Yeah. Do we want to check for the actual content or the presence of each column?
No, we want to check the content, right? So what we're actually going to check, because what we're actually checking is that it's coming out of the file and getting applied to the object appropriately, right? So we have these set up in there, and I have this as achievement one name.
Okay. I guess if it comes out null, it'll still catch that. So.
Yep.
Cool. Why is it like it though?
It doesn't like it because I'm not smart. So actually, it should have been should be. I had somebody at work the other day give me a hard time about the fact that I was using shouldly. It was like, oh, it's like, what is it? Too hard to type. Assert dot is true. And I was like, no, actually, I don't have a problem with that part. It's like, but look at the fact that the error message that comes out of this is way better than anything that you're going to get by default out of just a straight assert statement.
Yeah, and read it also.
Well, but that's fine. Like, I can understand if people are like, it's like it seems too wordy. Like, there's some people that aren't super excited about it. But if you want to have a nice error message coming out of it, like, this is one of the best things you can do, right? So a good example being this right here. Because what
should be, but was.
All right, so it's got to be built to get the full debug message there. Because it actually reads the code. So what's happening here? Yeah, so in this case, because it's not giving us the full thing, because it just says the provided expression should be achievement one name, but was digger achievement, right? So that is, it's kind of giving you that by default without having to go through in the assert. Like if you're using a normal assert, you actually have to put that in there. Like you have to put that information into that message. Because like if I were to do that, let's do that here. Let's do an assert dot is equal. We're saying it's name. That's what we're expecting. The actual is achievement. Right. So now the assert statement. Oh, you know what? This is a little bit better because the assert equals actually X unit. And that was one of the things. X unit actually has a better assert than the base assert that comes with like MS tests and stuff like that. Like you actually have even a lot more stuff in there. So that's even still a little bit better. But even if you look in here, it's just telling you it's an equality test that's failing. But it tells you nothing about what is actually being tested, right? It's just showing you the two values. Whereas if you drop that, can I force this to run again?
Run starting test? No.
Yeah, let's see if we do that. I think that'll do it. Right, so what you're actually seeing here, the big benefit is that inside of here, you're seeing achievement.name. So it's telling you what the property is that you're actually doing the test with. And it's saying should be the value, but was, and then what the difference is. Like you don't see it here because it gets kind of chopped off. That's why you see the 3 dots there at the bottom. But this is the biggest benefit that I see to the shouldly piece. The fact that I think it looks better as well, I think is just added bonus to it. But I think the fact that it actually tells you what it's actually being executed on is huge. Like it makes that message just boom. All right, I can tell right away what it's actually doing.
Yeah, well, the whole thing end to end is pretty fluent, I guess. Like in the sense that you can just like you don't even have to be like you can even have people that have a lot of experience that are sort of new to testing, right?
Yeah.
Um, so this is just like to try and explain it to somebody that hasn't really thought in that testing mindset. It's real easy to read to understand what it is that's happening. Whereas a cert isn't all that difficult to really digest, but it's another barrier. I like the way, and like you said, narrow reads exactly the same too. It's very
Mm-hmm.
here's what the problem is. So yeah, so you don't have to sell me. I like the should be.
Oh, we're gonna have to fix the achievements too. There's some weirdness happening here. So I don't know if you noticed, right? So I went to go write the test for this, and there's this setting,
Mhm.
but the setting is the achievement setting. So it's what's being used to create the achievement, and then it's being re-exposed to share. I don't know why yet. That's what I was unsure of. It had to do with the reward piece. And that's what I was like. So it's going into the achievement setting for the reward versus being loaded into the object. So yeah. So I should fix this problem. Right. So the problem is that this, even though you change it here, this doesn't actually save it. So that's why they have the apply and save there.
Right. So that was just edited.
Yeah. Oh, this is going to fail because I didn't finish this line. There we go. So now this should be successful now. I think I have that right. No? Oh.
Did it run?
No, you know what? It didn't. It did. It failed because I didn't rebuild it, so it didn't copy out the new files. Because the file I edited was the one in the project, not the one that gets built and goes into the bin folder.
Oh.
Why are you not? Oh, shoot. I know what happened. I renamed the file underneath of it.
Oh.
Right, so what I should have... There we go.
You have to see if that story got it.
No, it should be good.
It already passed.
Oh, check that out. Oh my goodness.
It was already green when we got here.
Yeah, and then this one's 2. Because we changed the file, so it only has 2. I should...
Right.
I do want to change this though, right? So...
Okay, you can make that the...
Yeah, I'm going to declare a constant, so it's like... yes. You know what? I should really make that total. So that's that, and so this is an inventory item 1, right? So we have to have a thing, we have a piece on this, right, that's telling us what the item was.
It's going to be on the reward, I think. On that setting.
So it's not. What's actually happening here? So we have to keep in mind that this is actually returning game achievement. Right? So the achievement, that's the base class. That isn't the actual type, right? So what we're actually going to need to do is we're going to need to cast it. And this is going to be to an inventory achievement, right? So then there we can actually then get the... Oh, is it still not there? Oh, it's getting it off of the setting.
That's what I said. It's on the setting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is not great. I stuffed this in there on the plane to get it working in June. Like, I remember this part. I was like, I'm not sure what to do here.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So there's like extra structure that needs to be built out to make this work properly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think that's what's actually hurting us on this.
Yeah, because that whole setting thing was a punt.
Well, there's nothing wrong with us using it as kind of a constructor for it, right? So we're defining what that setting is, and then we're instantiating an object for it.
Mm-hmm.
What I think we should do. So in game achievement, I'm going to leave that there for right now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this. So we're not going to have that, but we are going to add the inventory item name. Right, so that to me.
Add that property.
Yeah.
Okay. So it'll get you there, right?
Yeah.
Like where you were trying to go. So.
Ooh, see, that's what I don't like. I don't like this. To me, should be up at the top.
Yeah. That's why I said it looked upside down. Like it looked backwards the way it was laid out.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder why that is. I wonder if they have No, let's cancel that. I like the idea of using it though, like that, to kind of keep everything in the right spot.
Yeah, we'll just go down to the bottom and move it up. Check it.
Yeah, because this should be moved up. So I think.
Almost all the way up.
No, I think it's okay there.
Let's go to top of fields, cons.
I kind of like that. So I like public properties, constructors, and then.
So you like the fields under the constructor?
So I'll tell you, part of the reason is because fields are private members,
mm-hmm.
and the idea of having the public properties at the top with the constructor tells you what the external surface area of it looks like.
Okay. But you still might have public methods below.
Yeah, you would still have public methods below. Actually, maybe this. So I either like it like this, where it's first and then public properties.
I feel like maybe it goes back to like COBOL almost, where you had that declaration section in the top. Like I feel like that's the way I'm used to it.
Yeah, so I'm thinking about it from C++.
Mm-hmm.
And so in C++, you have that the H file, right? So it's a header file, and what it really is telling you is what the object is going to look like, right? And so it's only the public-facing items. So you can tell it very quickly what the stuff is that's public. So that's why that's in my head, right? So that's
it's like a descriptor of the class.
Yeah.
From outside.
And
okay.
Private methods should definitely be down.
Yeah, but definitely below public.
Yeah, and public should definitely be up here. We could put these all the way at the bottom because those should never exist.
Yeah.
I can never think of why you would have a private property.
I know. What is a legitimate reason? Viewers, if anybody has a legitimate reason for a private property, let us know.
Yeah, right? Internal protected. I think that's okay. Some of the stuff here I don't think would exist in any of it. This. I think I want to move this down. I think it's really more. I think that's where I want to put it for right now. So now if I were to do. Yeah, there we go.
Now put it up. So that's nice. If you take the time to organize that, then it kind of sticks everything So you
in
don't
the
have all
right
those
spots.
classes where everything's mixed up.
Yeah. Try doing it on a 15,000 line file though. See how long that takes. And then how's it going to organize it?
I have files I could try it on.
Yeah, me too. I am not going to be happy about it though. Oh, so there's actually another setting here that I forgot. There we go. So we'll do that. We're going to generate a property. I don't even know if this needs to be a property, to be honest with you. But,
That min amount?
Yeah, honestly, any of this stuff. That's the part that it's interesting. I'm not sure if it's necessary or not, but we'll keep it for the moment. So now we can do that. Now we've got the test nice and contained, because all that stuff is necessary for this, right? Which is why, to me, it feels like this is not necessary to be public.
Yeah, right? Like, you don't really need to expose it. I don't even know that you want to expose it.
Right? That's kind of where I'm...
Because it's really kind of an immutable situation, sort of. It's not really a property at all.
Yeah, I mean, we do have it set where it's a private set, so they can't change it.
Okay, so that covers that base.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you can interrogate it. Why not, right?
We'll leave it for now. I almost feel like it would be better for us to remove it and then add it if we needed it. Now, the hard part would be is I can't test that this loaded properly out of the achievement, right?
Yeah, how would you do that? Is that what we needed to expose them for the test?
That's a terrible reason to expose it.
That is a terrible reason to expose it. I agree.
Oh, wait a minute. What if we do this? What if we make it so that the inventory achievement has... We'll make the game achievements all have it. We'll actually do a... Let's do a... Let's do a public virtual here, right? So what I want to do is I want to do something that is going to return an achievement setting.
Oh, I know what you're going to do, I think.
Right? So then this way we can now return that. And so in this case, yeah, so then in this case we're going to return ID, name, description. There we go. So we do that, right? And then now we can actually get the setting and check it to make sure that the internals are set
equals,
properly.
right? You could just kind of
Yeah,
do an object equals.
even just do it like
right.
This actually needs to be
Okay.
one name. Let's do one more. This should be that, and this should be the min amount, right? Casing is an issue. Yeah, so this is good because now it's failing because it couldn't cast it, right? So now we want to actually get this, we want to create that on the inventory item achievement. And so this is going to return Uh,
Sorry, I got distracted. What was that? What happened?
um, I'm running into a strangeness that I feel like it's gonna be weird here. Why did it not find it? Right, so let me build that. It's gonna fail. So when I tried to find that, oh, it's there. I just didn't. Get setting just looked like it was part of uh, like part of the system stuff.
Oh, I see. Hmm.
Uh,
All right, all right. What's wrong?
not great, not super happy with it, but it's gonna give us something to actually test against without.
Yeah, no, it's cool, man. It gives us a little space to do some stuff. Sometimes you got to do that when you got stuff that's wrapped around itself weird.
Yeah, yeah. See, now we're getting these coming in green too.
All right.
I am curious what this would be if this was a 2.
It would be bad.
Yeah, that still shows it right. Look at that
Well,
line of code, like it shows it. I was just curious with all this casting weirdness that was going on here. I wasn't sure.
I see how it would render it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, so that's good. Now I would like looking at this here, or looking at this makes me feel like we need to do something with this stuff here, because like this doesn't really need to be up here. So I think we can actually move this into a constructor. So I'm going to put this in a method here to say, we'll just call it setup for the moment. But what I really want this to be actually is a constructor. So let me do that. This in here.
Yeah, it's the X unit way, isn't it? To do it in a constructor instead of the setup.
Yeah. Well, I was calling it that because that was just, I don't know, it was just a thing that I was going to call it. So
Right, but in N unit, it is setup. So.
Well, so technically it doesn't have to be named setup. You just have an attribute called setup.
That's true. That actually is what defines it. You could call it like Mo if you want.
Yeah. So there, that. Why is...
It's up there.
I don't know. It seems to be upset about something. That is funny that... Why doesn't it want to make that... Oh, yeah. It seems to be upset about something. But I don't know what it is. Oh!
Oh, because it's got the bad test in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what? 3 covering tests, 1 failure. Okay. Whew. I gotta get used to how to read that. Like, that just didn't pop out to me. That's what was happening, so...
Yeah, I was no help either. Yeah, just... Okay.
Yeah. Now, the only thing I was thinking about is looking at the way this is done, and I'm wondering if we should do it more like, shoot, what was it called?
The thing? Inventory achievement.
Okay, inventory achievement. Right, so.
Actually, it was ID, wasn't it?
Yeah. Makes them stand out more as like some of our set data.
Right.
So additionally with this here, so now we need to do one down here, right? But we don't need this here. So let's save that. And this should be now new call.
Okay.
Alright, so what I want to be able to do is that, and then I want to be able to make so I think I want this to be let's just leave it for here right now. I would like to make this a one-liner. It's kind of what I was thinking about, right? I was looking at the way that this is here because this is kind of what needs to test this whole thing, right? And so even though it's multiple asserts, what I'm really doing is asserting that the achievement object has been loaded properly from the file.
Okay.
I was just trying to think of a way to make that a little bit cleaner and have a single one line there. But I'm not sure how to do that just yet. So I'm going to leave that. And then this is going to be lifetime stat achievement. Nope, I want to declare it. It's a constant.
Is that 3?
2.
2. Ah, that other 2's number of achievements. Gotcha.
No way I can just move. I wonder if it's in the thing here. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, so. And then this actually should be 2 because those are 2. Right, and so that's fine. But this actually should be of a different type. Right, so this is lifetime stat achievement.
You need a 1 down on the should. There should be. Or 2 rather. I'm sorry, you have a 1.
Hold on.
Yep.
Where should be a 2?
Oh, at the end of that line 58 achievement. 2.
Well, this doesn't even have an inventory item.
Oh, it doesn't. So that can just come off.
This is a lifetime stat.
Right.
Right. So this should have lifetime
right.
stat name.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's so this is achievement 2 stat name, I think. Let me look up what I called it.
Achievement 2 name? Where's the stat name?
Shoot, I thought I. Yeah, here we go. Oh, I didn't actually change it. I left it.
Oh, lifetime chips?
Yeah, this should really be achievement 2 stat name. Alright, so he's got that saved. That should be right. This has something similar, but it's not min amount, is it? It's a min count.
Because why not?
Because why not? And that should be 1, so that should be good.
All I can say is you're welcome.
Ah, it would help if I actually had named this properly. Alright, so we do that. Will this automatically just do it? Oh, that's good. It failed on a different line.
So it did just run it. Okay.
Yeah. It's saying that it's not able
type?
to.
Is that what the problem is?
Oh, you know why? You know why? Because I didn't add it to this one. So I didn't add it to the.
Yeah, none of that's in there. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't do the override for it. So now we can do this. So now we. Yep. There we go. Now we can do ID. Name. Oh, we still have these as like things. Actually should fix that. So we need min amount. Oh, min count. That's right. That was different.
Yeah. Might be worth renaming. What is it?
It doesn't have it yet. That's why it's not. All right, so there, and then there's the stat name. Oh, shoot, what's it called?
Lifetime stat name. Okay.
Yeah. All right, so that's what we're gonna put there. We're gonna add. Put that in there. I'd be really interested to see what happens if we got rid of all that stuff at some point here.
What's that, the setting stuff?
Yeah. Alright, so now that's happening. Now we should actually see some of this go. Ooh. How about go red? Oh, I did state instead of stat.
Working on a lot of stuff with state at work.
Yeah, do a fair amount of state stuff. All right. So now we got that all passing. So that's all passing.
I am in.
Yeah, so now we know that our stuff is actually getting loaded out properly. All right.
Yeah, good deal.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, some of this I was actually wondering, it's like maybe to make this a little bit cleaner, is I'm wondering if we should just do a temporary variable for it. Just because of this.
That setting out, you mean?
Because of the cast there.
Yeah.
So let me just do setting. Right, because then we can just use this.
Yeah, it's nice and clean.
I think it makes it. It should be a little bit easier that way.
Yeah, well, that cast convolutes it when you see it all those times.
Yeah, yeah. If we didn't have the cast, I probably would be okay with it. I'm trying to get better being okay with it. I'll tell you Martin Fowler made a good argument for it, and I was like, okay, I can kind of get on board with the idea of it. That like you're doing this to try to save, to create this temporary variable to make like this stuff make more sense, but or maybe try to do performance improvement or whatever, and it's like, really, you should be able to just go right against that, and it should be just as fast as if it's being pulled out. Like if it's not, there's other ways of doing that, or maybe you need to do something completely different to get that to work right. Like usually it's being done for the wrong reason. And I need to rename this.
Yeah, but it seems like that cast, like there's some weight within that cast, right? And doing it once, does it do it for every time you use it? I don't think it does.
No, it's not. I'm not worried about the cost of it. It's just this is such a long name that this is hard to read.
It's definitely way more readable, but in the performance thing that you were talking about, it's like, I don't know.
Oh, no, this case not. But what if Git setting and it was doing something that was intensive? Like let's say it was going to a database or whatever, and so you did this call and it went to the database and you then checked this, and then you did this call again and it went to the database again and you checked this, right? So the solution, instead of outputting it to a single thing and then checking all the properties on it, if that's what you're trying to do, is that it might actually be better to create a caching mechanism around this object. So that Git setting would pass a cached version as a result set within a certain time period, right? So that would be a better way of addressing that problem than creating some code that is going to look potentially messier and less readable. So, less expressive anyways. Alright, so I think we should do the same thing up top.
Yeah, clean it up a little. I agree.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same thing here.
Alrighty.
Look how fast it actually reruns these tests, because I see it like going, like it flickers. I'm like,
they go dim and then up again.
Yeah. Alright, so now we've got these.
So that's the achievement tests for the first batch.
Yep. Yeah, I'm actually a little not happy about having these like this here, I'll tell you. I just don't know. I'm not sure what I would like to actually do.
You mean that group of asserts, right?
Not only the group of asserts, but all these magic strings here that we're using. That these strings feel, so there's the magic strings part that's kind of disturbing for me, but it doesn't bother me too much because of the fact that it's in a file and it's here, so it kind of has to be in two spots, but it makes it a little bit disjointed. But like this one here, that's really confusing, right? Because you don't know what that number actually is supposed to be.
Right, like why should it be 1?
Yeah, and so I think I'm going to make that a constant.
Can you make that whole... I don't know. No.
What's that?
I was just looking at that whole object. If you could test it all at once. Like if the assembled object was to equal a constant object that you just put in, it's like this is the definition.
You could, but we would have to override the equals operator, like the equals function. Okay. And not that we couldn't, it's just, you know, it's just another way of going about it. But yes, you could do that. This I want to rename to... that's what...
This is a little funky in and of itself.
What's that?
And the list of constants up top. It's better, at least they're all together.
Yeah, but the thing is that in here you want to be able to say min amount should be equal to the inventory achievement amount, min amount. You know what I mean? Like, so this is kind of what this is actually being able to now be readable because we added that in there, versus it just being a 1, right? Because we don't know what the 1 actually is. Like, what is that supposed to be, right? So
you don't even have the text to describe it.
right. So, and then this is going to be the lifetime.
Min count?
Yeah. Yeah, so at least in here you have name and description, so it can be kind of usable, you know, to understand what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's defined at least a little bit.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I think we can say that one's done. So let me just check that in. Make sure I didn't change anything I didn't mean to. Nope. That's what was meant. All right, so update achieve. Whoops, so that caps lock on. So we're doing the check here. Did you do the bang high Pete?
I did. Did you see it?
No, I just saw the text there. Like, I can't believe you did that.
Yeah, figured what the heck.
Yeah, why not? Do it. Do it a bunch of times. We'll have a bunch of extra.
I'll do it every 30 seconds.
That'll promote our Friday stream, right?
Thank you.
Just to check. Type. There we go. Get that in. Whoa, like that.
You may not push, sir.
I don't know. That just failed for some reason. Completely unbeknownst to me why.
Worked that time.
Yep. And we'll just get these. While I was in here. Something just went red down here.
One failure.
Oh, I have tests that are
There's
failing.
other tests.
Oh, this is that one that is.
What's up with that?
So this is the one that fails occasionally because this value is just like it's going to a 9.
Oh. Is it because we changed the way that worked? With that, the way that roll worked, or is it just a bad text?
I think so. I'm going to try changing it to 9 because I think. Let's see what was happening here. Scoop, dig. So if we go into here.
The dig.
Yeah. So we were. Oh, that's right, because we actually have it in here with the percentage values versus.
Yeah, we changed it to factors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it used to just be a span. It was like random between.
Yeah, and I think that's what was. I think that's what's causing the trouble, right? Because it's even the digger bit, right? The digger bit's even a factor on this. So I think this is just the default digger bit. And I think that may have been what is mixing this all up.
You probably should change the name of that test then. It's between 3 and 9.
Yeah. That's so awesome. trying to see if this said.
You,
What's
you
that?
I was just saying, I'm trying to keep the yawns to a minimum because I know you it gets you going. So I'm trying to like hold them in.
I know.
My eyes are watering now. I'm sorry. What were you saying? You were saying something actually relevant.
I wanted to take a look at this digger and try to understand what it was actually getting. Right. So this one here, it's getting a min of 8 and a max of 25. So I think this may have been what caused it to be different.
Mm-hmm.
So I think 9 will do it. The thing that's weird is that this might be, like this 7 might be too low.
Well, it wasn't. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, these tests kind of aren't valid anymore.
It's not that they're not valid.
Well, they need some tweaking though, because they're.
What we have is the ability to. We do have an ability to validate randoms. We just have to set the seed value. And so if we can set the seed value, we can guarantee what values come out of this. Because that's not, but we'd have to do that somehow within the bit. Like, so we'd have to tell the bit, here's the seed value we want you to use.
Well, we could still use whole numbers, right? Like we just have to work out the math.
Well,
so that they're accurate.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we definitely could. It's
okay.
just, yeah. I'm gonna leave this at 7. I think these ranges were all based on. We're still based on the original. I think we did tweak some of them at one point. But yeah,
I think you're right that they're based on that because it used to just be that span. So
yeah. All right, so I'm gonna just check that in there to fix that. Alright, so we've got that done. Yeah, see, this is still still the range. But we'll get through it. We'll get it figured out.
Yeah, well, the durability, does that still work that way? What takes the damage on that? Did we change that? We did.
Mm-mm.
No, we didn't. It's still just a random. Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, just the durability hit number. Okay.
Yep, it's just the durability. Interesting. What does this say?
Smart duplicate line.
Oh, it's just telling me I could use that to do it. Yeah, so I think the only other one we have here is this items, right? So, the game item.
Right, that was the big list, right?
Well, it's a bigger list.
As compared to the... it's a big 5 list.
Yeah. So, I think we just need to have one in here.
Yeah, just one row.
Or I can do 2 rows. I'm just going to do one where it'll just be name 1, pluralize name 1, and description 1, name 2, pluralize name 2. Wow. All right, so this it's failing already.
Didn't like that.
That's pretty funny. All right, so let's actually make this. I'm going to put a constant. This is going to be total number of items. Right. This actually should be 2.
That'll work. Yeah, there it goes.
Right? Isn't I think it's pretty awesome. You're gonna have some struggles with the work that you're doing right now, like the projects that you have, but
yeah, I don't think it's reasonable to just drop it on there. But
you notice this test? Actually, I renamed it and I called it achievements. Load all game items in file. So now we want to load.
You want to test the individual items, right? Like the values. Yeah.
So we're gonna do this same one, but so I'm gonna take this again. I'm gonna create a constructor. This in there, and then I'm just gonna. Oh, you know what? I didn't want this. I want this
took that
down
with
here.
it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna widen the scope up there. Oh, yeah. I guess I could do that, huh? I don't even need the constructor.
Yeah, because you don't need a fresh one every time, right?
Well, no, this will give me a fresh one every time because it news up this class each for each test.
Yeah, so there you go. You don't need the constructor.
Yep, so I don't even need the constructor. All right, so now we can do our item repo dot get all first. Just 1, and then now we want to do the test on that, right? So we want to make sure that the name should
was
be
name 1, I think. Wasn't it all just the field name plus the?
Yeah. So that's it for that. Those should still be okay. Yeah, should be that. I'll make it a little bit easier. Right.
I'm sorry if there's background chatter. I'm not sure if you can hear it.
No. I do want to rename this one to game item repo. There we go. All right, cool. So I think that's going to do it. I do want to name that. So that the error message comes out looking right.
Right.
It is a bummer not having writing these tests after the fact, but
well, we do what we can.
Yeah, I'm trying. Doing the best that we can.
It started out as a little console project. So.
Yeah, right?
It's funny because we've been resisting the whole time, like doing bigger, more advanced things. But it's kind of hamstringing us now. I almost think like, well, if you've been watching this long, get ready for some advanced stuff. I don't know. I want this thing to work.
Yeah, I think it's pretty advanced already. So.
Yeah, right. It's definitely already for a programmer.
Yeah. I don't need that file anymore. Yep. Yeah. So now we're getting, because there's some pieces of this that we're gonna need to think about addressing now that we've actually got repos even in here. We don't have a ton of time left, so let's do a build. I should have the well, I was gonna say I should have the build automatically run the test, but I don't need that because I got.
Yeah, they're always running.
Yeah. That is very neat. All right. So what did I change here? I just want to get these cleaned up before I go into the next phase of things. So I renamed the file, rename that. We added the test for the basic, for the game items, right? So let's stage all these. Let's do game item, add game item, loaded detail tests. All right, so.
Said already. So that's 2 commits tonight. That's good.
Yeah. So then the thing that I think what I want to try to address is the fact that we have this game settings object that's out here, right? And I feel like where it's being used is unnecessary, so we can probably kill that. And so this almost seems like we should actually have the rewards be part of this, right? Oh, that's interesting. Why is it an interface?
Because it can have code in it. That is what changes the state of everything to apply the reward. So it adds something to the store, or it, you know what I mean? So that's not even really a setting. I don't think it's something you would necessarily want to name a setting.
Well, the thing that's interesting is that it is. So let's see, how many achievement awards do we have? Like, what are the different ones?
I think there's just the 1, maybe 2. So I think all it does is add the hopper and add the bit.
I don't. Right.
So a store item reward gives you an item in the store. Okay. Okay. So this in and of itself is not so bad, but it's in a weird place.
Yeah. Yeah, I am a little concerned about it. I almost feel like there's nothing wrong with the idea of the eye achievement reward as a marker class. I'm just trying to think of how we.
Well, it's interfaced. Also, it's kind of coming back to me because that list, when it goes through and applies all the rewards that you get for the achievement, because there could be more than one, they can be of different types in my mind. So that's why it's interfaced, so they can be loaded in the same list and have that apply reward method called.
Right. So the reward, yeah. I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm debating on the way the apply reward is handled.
Yeah, like what the ligature that it has to the achievement should not be a setting thing.
Well, that's definitely true. I think what I'm concerned about here. Realistically, the thing that concerns me is this. Is this getting passed into it?
The game state?
Yeah. Because now you're creating this dependency on this here. Game state.
Probably what we should be doing is raising some kind of event then, huh? And letting the store do this.
That is exactly where I'm going with it. Right? I feel like it should be like add item to store, and the store has a handler that catches it and then does something with it.
Hmm.
It might be
Yeah.
yeah, it might be time for us to think about adding in a container, and maybe even we could even take advantage of using mediator, um, because it has some of that built-in stuff there for handling that, so we don't have to go through all of it ourselves. Um,
Okay.
what that really does is it creates a way to um, post events, commands, and queries into a pipeline that will then it's basically an in-memory pipeline, right? And it'll take all of your objects from your container, um, of specific types, and pull them in. Uh, I've done it. We could do it manually versus using mediator. Um, so I'm okay either way. Looking at how to whichever way we want to end up going.
I'm not actually familiar with Mediator, so I'm not sure.
Right. Let me see. We'll bring it up here real quick just to talk about it, because uh, it's coming out here. Oh, it didn't. All right. So this is setting it up with the whichever container you're using. Right. So here's kind of the idea, right? So you're going to set up a type of request, right? So in this case, um, it's an iRequest, and I think the string is your identifier, if I remember correctly.
Is it always an iRequest?
Yes. In this case, you're creating a ping message that you want to request, right? So the idea is a request is something you're going to send out.
Okay.
The next step here is where you're creating the handler for it, right? And so you're basically saying, I request handler, which takes a request and the ID type, right?
Uh
I
huh.
think that's what that is. Oh no, I'm sorry. String is the response. So that's what this is. So this is a request response type message, which we may not have to do in a lot of these cases, but we'll go over this one first. So the
Okay.
request is saying this is going to be a request with a response of type string. And
Oh,
ping,
so you're expecting a string back. Okay.
correct. Right. So that's why what ends up happening here in the handler is that you're actually saying this is an iRequest handler for a request that's a ping and a response that's a string. So now you have this ping handler that's for that definition. Now when that comes in, the request is what comes in. It'll automatically put that into this handle, right? So this is the function that's actually going to handle their call. And so you can see that what it's actually doing is it's returning a string, because these are the result sets.
Right. So that Pong is that string that you're finding there coming back.
Right. So what you then have is you're going to have this mediator object available to you that will have a send on it, and so then you can send the request, and whatever handlers are out there that can address that request will then do its thing, and then it will respond in kind.
Hmm.
Right, and then you have um, this is an async one, so this allows you to do more like message type processing, which is basically fire and forget, and you
Right.
let it do its thing. Um,
Okay. Okay. So it's it's an event pipeline.
yes, it's the benefit of it is that you don't have to write all of it. Now, the only thing that I was hesitant with it, and maybe it's inappropriate, was that because they have their own um, types that you then are depending upon. So that was the only thing
Like
that
you talking about like the eye response and the eye notification and all?
yeah, their interfaces. And I ran into a weird problem with it, and it might have been because I was using it at the wrong abstraction. Is really what I think ended up being the case. I think I was using it too far down the onion, um, too close to the core logic.
Okay.
But it has its own dispatcher and everything like that, which is nice, and it works with, the different container types. We are doing a .NET Core project, so we could bring in the libraries for using their container. We could bring in another one. I'm not sure. Let's see which ones that's actually have. Like maybe we can use Simple Injector instead, because that's like a really, really small, lightweight one. But we can also just use Microsoft's one. The only problem with it is it does have some some limited configuration options that make it less than perfect, but they have some augmenters for it now, like augmenting libraries that give it that additional functionality. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm just kind of digesting it all here.
Yeah, I think the benefit for us would be that we could then start, moving these things out to the right place. We would, and if we do it with a container, then we can actually, when we build in a service locator pattern, then we can actually get the stuff. It'll be able to load all that stuff appropriately.
All right. So, okay. That's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels like that could take a little bit to get done.
Yeah. Well, that and we still haven't actually loaded that data into the game that we have, but it's not really going to work as it is.
Yeah, I think we can leave the reward thing the way it is for the moment.
Just stuff the code in there and leave it work for now.
Yeah, well, I think what I want to do is I want to make it so that what I really want is this to actually be on this portion here, right? So this needs to be here, and I don't know. Oh, that's fine. Game state. There's that. But so instead of this, we'll have that. You know what's weird is there's nothing in here actually taking an achievement setting.
There's not. Did we take that out?
No, I just don't think it was ever really in here. I think what it was.
So this is all about
Yeah.
the player part, like that minor achievement?
Well, this is the base of the game achievement, right? And so it has the test. It has its tests in here to try to see.
Okay.
Stuff, right? And so a lot of these are virtual. This is the only one that actually is checking the achievements. Which is basically making a call to this one that's being overridden.
Right, okay.
Right, so what we actually would need to do is in here, we're going to need to include the rewards. Right, so we got to do that. And then we'll do that on the other one as well.
Okay.
All right, now we can get rid of all this. And get rid of this one.
Yeah, that's just the setting that comes in.
Yep, and we get rid of those.
That comes in. Cool.
All right, so
Here are the tests. I don't think that's going to work.
what?
The game.
Oh, I'm typing in the wrong spot. I'm like, why is this? You don't think the game's gonna work?
Didn't we change around the way that? I guess it will though, because it doesn't have to read the data out. It's still there, right?
Yeah, like I mean.
Yeah, the code's still there. We just put all that extra stuff in. Okay. I'm sorry, because I know we never dumped the data that we were reading out of the files into the game, but that's okay. It's all still there.
Yeah, it was more. I just wanted to make sure that the achievements still worked, right?
Yeah.
So let me just. Yeah,
There's
so we
that
got
one.
the achievement. All right, good. So. Yeah, we just kind of moved this stuff around so that these were being put into the right spots.
Right. So
Versus-
that setting makes sense instead of having that weird extra piece hanging out there.
Exactly. Just notice that we missed this piece, right? So we
Does
didn't.
that look grayed out?
What's grayed out?
Oh, never mind. I guess it's just because it was down lower. It was weird. That whole the whole inside of that lifetime achievement setting, where all the properties are getting set, was like it looked gray down the bottom. It was strange.
Oh,
I think it was me, not it.
so yeah, we just add in here. Oh. There we go. So I like watching these just go dark green. I like it. It's very entertaining. I like the fact that you can quickly see which lines you have code coverage on.
Yeah, right. Well, that makes you want to write a test. It's like, ooh, light
Mhm.
bulbs.
Totally making me want to write a test for those stuff that's missing. So I think those items have now been addressed in the inventory items. At least that setting isn't being used anywhere now. Should actually. Yeah, so these are all the stuff. All right, we're gonna have to get these. I think the a thing that would be nice, maybe we can do it in the next stream, is actually getting the stuff loading from the database,
Mm-hmm.
or from the data files.
The files, yeah. It's our database.
Yeah, I think the thing that is going to be difficult is the achievements. Actually, you know what we have to deal with is the rewards, because those rewards are
Their code.
yeah.
Like you either have to point to them or something. Like you got to be able to find where that is.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and we have to load them, right? I mean, because the thing is, what's nice about the rewards themselves is that we have just this one here that we need to construct up,
Mm-hmm.
right? So this is stuff that we're taking in that needs to come in here, and this game item is actually from the database. You know what I mean? Like all this kind of stuff is there, and I think we need to talk. We need to figure out how we're going to do the rewards, because I think we did discuss this briefly last week.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea was, if we can take the Oh, make it so that there's a limited number of rewards that we can do. And maybe we can say, say we're going to only allow 1 or 2 for right now. And that way it'll
Okay.
be on the row, and then we can just say what that item is. And maybe we can have like a couple of fields to tell us what type, and some other stuff. I don't know. So it'll look like those old school tables where they just used to have all of them. They would have like reward 1 name, reward 1 type, reward 1 count, reward 1 price.
Those, the big long ones, wide ones.
Because I feel like we're not going to. I don't know if we're going to want to have all of the items in there, and I think it makes it more difficult to load them out of these files, since we can't do like full true relationships.
Right. You'd have to dig them out in a more old school kind of way.
Well, the only thing we could do is we could create an item rewards an item rewards table, and then they would have a reference to the achievement, like an achievement rewards table. And then we just add that into how we load up the information for the achievements and make it part of that by default.
Yeah, just put it in right from Jump Street. You're saying, like when we new them up.
Yeah. Maybe that might be a better way to go.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, it makes it. The only thing that concerns me is, how we get that data out. I don't know. I don't know if it's the worst thing. It's going to be weird having 2 files versus 1, right? That's the only thing that's the other part that makes me nervous about it. I think if we don't do more than 2 like that, I think we can be okay.
Well, maybe we can do like that wide table setup like you're talking about. I don't know if that's the worst thing in the world.
Yeah. I felt the only part that makes me nervous about it is when we have to add a new column for it. I think it might make it more difficult. But really, how many rewards are we going to ever really have for an achievement?
Yeah, like different kind. How many different things can really? I guess kind of a lot. Depends on where you take the game, but
yeah. Do you think on an achievement we would have something where you would get like more than 5 items as a reward?
I don't know what would happen. Maybe stuff even could go into your inventory, right? Like, who knows?
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying more than 5.
No, I don't know.
I think, you know what though? I think it doesn't matter too much if we're going to solve the problem at the reading level, right? So I think we can skip worrying about it right now. And let's just do something so we get it in there. Let's do the wide table. How long is that going to take to really actually apply to this? I don't think it's going to be that bad. So I think we might be better off doing it that way.
Yeah, having that big data file just seems better.
Yeah.
To make cool.
Yeah. The only thing that I'm a little worried about, and I'm not sure how we fully address it, is the fact that this actually does have the game item in there. And generally you don't want to have one repository talking to another repository. So maybe we change this. Instead of this being a game item, it'll be a game item ID. And instead of...
So it would look it back up?
Yeah, it would look it up.
Could do that.
Because now we'll actually have IDs.
That's all we use, right? We pass the whole item, I guess.
No, so we pass the whole item into here, but it's part of the store item. But we can get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just get the.
I feel like the ID will work, and I feel like it's not. Does it? I don't know if it has to actually be part of this object or not.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's think on that.
Yep. I think it is time to think on that. And I guess we will call that.
Yeah, I guess we're about done. So
Yeah.
push up those changes.
Yeah, we're gonna remove the achievement settings access. There we go. Now it's all pushed up. Now we are done.
All right then. I guess that's a wrap.
Push successful. And we'll wrap it up. All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night.